Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 48-year-old Texas resident David Arredondo traveled to D.C. with two family members. And on January 6th, he was seen among a large mob. They were confronting officers. The officers were standing behind barricades. And when some of the mob started to get physical with the police, Arredondo joined in. So he started pushing on the barricades, pushing them forward. A few minutes later, Arredondo and another person then shoved the barricades into the police. And then he and at least one other person grabbed the barricade, yanked it away from the police, and carried it back into the crowd. So Arredondo was then seen, he was moving back to the police line. He grabbed onto another barricade and he pushed that forward. And so that caused the police line to fall back. And according to the prosecutor, the attack intensified and Arredondo was seen pushing an officer's hand away. Then he shoved another barricade toward the police, and then he pulled another section of the barricade away. So all of these attacks and then the removal of the barricades caused the police line to collapse. And so the mob started streaming onto the East Plaza. Then a short time after that, Arredondo was seen outside the East Rotunda doors. So these doors were under siege, both from inside and outside. And I've mentioned this before because people who entered the building through other doors and windows, they kept trying to push these doors open from the inside. So they wanted to allow more people in. Plus, the police were pushing people out of the Capitol through these doors. So they had to open the doors, obviously, to get the people out. And at one point, when they opened the doors, there was an officer, they gave his or her initials only. I believe, well, from the pictures I saw, it was a male. The initials of TM, but they didn't give the officer's full name. So Officer TM tried to pull the door shut again. And that's when Arredondo grabbed this officer TM by his arm and forcibly yanked on his arm to try to prevent the officer from securing the door. So after this assault, Arredondo was seen forcing his way into the building, and he pushed the door toward Officer TM. And then Arredondo headed into the Capitol Rotunda. And then he moved on to other parts of the building. He joined with other people who overran officers. There was a line of officers inside the Capitol in a hallway. He was seen removing fencing that had been erected near a hallway entrance. So this, again, was inside. And then from there, Arredondo and a mob of people walked down a hallway. They stopped and they encountered more officers. And Arredondo was toward the front of the crowd and he was seen chanting. He was gesturing at the police. Ultimately, the officers, again, were very outnumbered. Everybody pushed past them. And Arredondo was then seen walking through several other areas of the building, and then he finally exited the Capitol. So he finally exited the Capitol about 35 minutes after entering. And Arredondo was arrested on October 26th of 2022. And in a superseding indictment, he was charged with civil disorder, assaulting officers, entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, 2 counts of physical violence, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol building. In January of 2024, in a really bizarre move, actually, Arredondo pleaded guilty to all of the charges and without a formal plea agreement in place. So he was looking at up to 17 years in prison, total, and then dozens of years of probation, more than $500,000 in fines. However, the government requested 40 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. Pretty weak considering his criminal history. He doesn't have any recent arrests or convictions, but what he does have in his past is some very serious violent crimes. So according to the prosecutor, Arredondo was a member of a violent gang in 1994, and they said he committed 3 violent crimes all in 1 month, all in October of that year. So in the first instance, Arredondo and another person shot at another person's home. They shot up this person's house. He was convicted for that crime on disorderly conduct and discharging or displaying a firearm. and he received only 90 days for shooting at a person's home. Then Arredondo shot someone in the neck. Again, this is in the same month. For that crime, he was convicted of deadly conduct and discharging a firearm. He was given 10 years in prison for that crime. The same month, I'm assuming before he went to prison, he shot someone in the butt. I know that sounds funny, but sure, to that person, it was not. In that case, he got another 10-year prison term for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. They made that sentence concurrent, though, with the other 10-year sentence. So, not to run consecutively, not 20 years total, concurrent. Why, I don't know. In 2002, while he was in prison serving the, 2 10-year sentences, Arredondo assaulted someone in prison. He was convicted for that crime of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He was given an additional 4 years only behind bars. This time, though, they did say it would run consecutive to his 10-year term. Unfortunately, U.S. District Judge Royce Lamberth presided over Arredondo's January 6 case. He is a Trump appointee. He has likened January 6 to the BLM protests because, a violent uprising against the government based on a complete fairy tale about a stolen election is the same thing as people protesting very real police violence and the obscene murder of unarmed Black and brown people in this country. Yeah, they're just so the same. Anyway, when all was said and done, Judge Lamberth sentenced Arredondo to only 33 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. Unbelievable. This guy pleads guilty to 2 felonies and 6 misdemeanors, and this judge still couldn't give the prosecutor the measly 40 months that they requested. And with Arredondo's violent history, you would think he would look at this and go, wow, okay, he clearly didn't learn his lesson. He went to the Capitol and got violent again, right? He's pushing barricades into the police. Yeah, but tell me again about the party of law and order. Yeah, that's why I call them lewd and odor instead. So anyway, guys, I will let you know if I hear any more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.